Hi guys, welcome back to Python test driven development. In the last video we started writing a code for our Geek Trust file, and we successfully mocked our function, and then we just added some instructions to it and got back the results as expected, right? In this video what I went ahead and did was I set up all the instructions for the whole family tree. So if you see, we add Shan, Anga, Chit and all these members. I have created instructions for them so that we can add them later on. For this video what we are going to do is I've also added some coverage as well. So the first thing is a child can have either 2 or 3 arguments, right? Because Shan, as you can see, does not have a mother, nor does Queen Anga, right? So Queen Anga is added through a spouse, but Shan needs to be added through a mother, but Shan does not have a mother. So in this case, if the family tree is empty, Shan will be added. Otherwise, the only way you can add Shan is through a mother, right? So in this case, family tree is empty, so Shan has been added. We need to cater for that as well, right? So what I did was in add child method I made sure that it takes 2 arguments as well and 3 arguments as well. But if the length of argument is not 3, if length of args is not greater than or equal to 2 and less than or equal to less than 4, right, then we return none. And as you know, if we return none, what happens is the result is not even added to the list, right? So we will have to check that as well. Similarly, in this case the length of args has to be 3, is equal to 3. Okay, so it's something like this. If so let's do it this way. If length of args is greater than 3, or length of or length of arcs is greater than less than 2, then we return none, right? Similarly over here, length of arcs is not equal to 3, we return none. And in case of the relationship type, you already know, if the relationship type is none, then not there, we return none. If length of arcs not equal to 2, we return none, right? So these were some things. Fake relationships won't work, can have 2, can have 3 and can have 2 or 3, right? So the next is join the results in with space. That we will do later on, right? So first, without in the unit test we set up the return value, so we can't really test anything. But what we can do is we can test the thing in integration test. And what we will do is, if we call a member, let's say Shan, then we should get Shan male and no mother, right? And if we call add child with only Shan, then we get nothing because the length of arguments is not matching. Similarly, if we say add spouse with only spouse and wife, this should give us none, so it will not be added in the list, right? And then get relation shape member, and this will not be added in the list as well. So let us test our integration test. And tuple index out of range in construct add child method call. So that's mostly because this line over here. Let me just check that real quick, guys. So args is Shan and male, right? So args dot one is what about args two? 0. Okay guys, I think I made a mistake over here. I think what I'll have to do is convert args into a list. So args equals list of args. Now things would work properly as they should. Which is weird. Arg should not have a value of it's not how arg should work really. Let's see if this works out though. So we do get something different over here, and that's because the args method is returning something else to us now. Let me check that real quick, guys. So let me print args1 as well. Arg0 and arg1 do give me Shan and male. In the next we get tuple index out of range. So I think we should do this star args. So that would basically expand only in assignment. So let us test it out real quick, guys. We had this. Instead what we'll do is print arg0 and args1 as well. So we call sum with star of 1 2 3 4, and we get print arg0 is 1 and arg0 is 2. If we only have arg0, then we get 1. If we print only args1, then sum will give me 2. So that's fine, there is no problem over here. So what is the, oh right guys, I think the problem is, okay, but this did take in the, so let us have a look at the test. Let's go over here and let us put the PDB somewhere around here. Okay, let's just see what the error is first. Test translate, assertion list differ. This to server family tree actual. Get member. Hmm. Let's just print the length of args over here. Let's import PDB. The length is 2. So if length args is less than 2, argument 0, which is this, argument 1, yep, the result is correct. The results look something like add child Shan mail, right? Which is what we expect over here, right? So the next one is tokens add child Shan, and in switch construct method, we finally go to the construct method, and here we return none. So the result is nothing. Continue. Then we have the next instruction, which is add child mother member male. The length of args is, I guess it's 3, not greater than 3, not less than 2. So here args 1, 2, 0. Let us look at the result. Yep, self.family tree add child member male brother mother. So our results look something like this now, right? Then we have another construction, which is what was the instruction? Add spouse wife female. So based on spouse, wasn't it added? So what was the construct method? Construct method was add spouse method called, right? So what was the result? Wife female spouse. So Sorry about that. This is wife female spouse. Yep. So our results look something like male, family tree, add child, add spouse, wife female spouse, which is going good so far. Then we have tokens, which is add spouse, spouse, wife. The result should be none, right? So now for the next token, we have get relationship member brother-in-law, and the result should be self.family tree member brother-in-law, which is correct over here. So let us look at the results so far. We've got everything correctly. Then we have tokens, and we have get relationship member random. The result should be none, nothing was appended, right? This time, what was the final instruction? Get relationship member, right? So the result should be none. Yep. And then we continue. There's another instruction now, which is, so yeah, our results look exactly what they should look like. We have Shan male, male mother, wife female spouse, and then member brother. So now result over here is exactly the same. I think I missed a comma somewhere here. This is the problem, guys. These kind of problems, these are the kind of problems that I keep making, and these are the problems that cost me a lot of time. I mean, seriously, top of everything right now, this is what to be the problem. Yep, now they pass, right? So now that we have this out of the way, what we are going to do is we need to test these methods separately, because we didn't do that. So we broke the rule of testing things first and then doing writing code later. But sorry guys, I should have, but sometimes you just need to do things, and yeah. Then we have another method, which is test construct. Instead of add child, we have add spouse, right? Pass. Then we have def. Instead of here, we'll add test, and we'll say get relationship method called self. Pass. And what we'll do is self dot, it will be a simple test, guys. Geek trust app dot construct get relationship. No, that was not this is, sorry, construct add child method call, and the add child method call should basically give us none or this, right? So we can have, so what we will do here is the add child method call will basically get a member. First of all, what does the add child method expect? It gets an args, right? So the position of the args have to be proper, by the way. So That's on us breaking that down, right? So 0 and 1, that is Shan and male. So let us add Shan and male first. So when we say Shan and male, result of 2 args, result 3 args. That's where we will have a mother as well. Result of 1 arg will not pass. So self dot assert equal result of 1 arg is none. Self dot assert equal result of 2 args is self dot family tree dot add child. It's going to be Shan male, and then self dot assert equal result 3 args is going to be Shan male and mother, right? So let's try and test our unit test. We'll get some errors, that is for sure. Okay, we did not solve for test pass. Same thing for add spouse, but in add spouse we'll only have 2 arguments. So if we don't have the first if we say wife female, we'll get none, right? And we need to have husband, wife and female, right? So what we'll do is we're just going to copy this out real quick. We're going to say results of 2 args will be none, because it will take either 3 or it will take nothing. And then we'll have wife, female and husband. So let's do the unit test here. It's because wife female not equal to none, and this is weird because we ended up calling add child. We should call add spouse. That's what happens when you copy code, guys. So once this happens, what we'll do is our add child, so even this will call add spouse, right? And finally we have 3 results for result 2 args will be ourself geek trust geek trust app dot construct get relationship method call, and we will just give it a name and say brother in law. So okay, it should have 1 args, because if it is 2 then it will work, otherwise it will not work, right? So then we have result 2 args, which should give us the actual value. It should be name and brother in law, and let's say we have third argument, which is invalid args, and we're going to say some random thing, right? Random. So we will do an assert equal 3 times. And the first one will be result 1 args, result 2 args, result invalid args. The first one and the last one will give us none, and the third one will give us self dot family tree dot get relationship with the name, and the relationship will be translated to brother-in-law, right? So let us test those real quick. And yep, now guys, you might be thinking, why don't we add an integration test for this already? We don't need to, because that has already been tested with our test translate, because it calls these methods internally and gets the result. So if we get correct results, it means all these 3 methods are working correctly, right? And we tested the working of these methods over here as well, so we don't need to write an integration test for that. So now that we have all these methods tested, we need to construct the execute method, which will basically eval and then execute each of these methods separately. So what we are going to do is, in our unit test, we are not going to actually call them, so we are going to just mock them out and test if they have been called properly or not, right? So just like this, instead of this, we are going to mock the family tree, which is in geektrust.py, right? So since we have to we are mocking that out right now, later on when we have the actual family tree, we'll have to mock that out as well. Geektrust dot geek dot family tree dot add child. I'm gonna say the return value is, so you know what, we don't even need to check the return values, we are just going to check if these were called or not. So add spouse, then get relationship, right? So what we will do here is mock add child, mock add spouse, and mock get relationship. 3 methods. And now what we have is, we have so what we will do is, we'll say self dot geek trust app dot execute, and the execute will try and call execute with this, right, because it has all 3 methods there. And this should give us results. Actually, you don't even need to get results here. Okay, let's do that, no problem. Results, and we're going to say, since they don't have return values, that's fine. Alright. So results will be none. So self dot assert equal results will be none, because obviously we don't have return values for these. But what we will get is our self. So we'll say mock dot add child was assert called with, add child would be assert called with this value over here, right? And then mock add spouse would be called dot assert called with this, and mock get relationship will be assert called with this line over here, right? So right now we don't even have the execute method. So let us create the execute method real quick. So the execute method takes in instructions, right? Then what it does is, for instructions in instruction, you'll get a result which is going to be eval instructions instruction. If not result, we'll continue. If it has a result, then he will have a results list where he will results dot append result, right? And later on he will return results. Since we don't have any values, we'll get an empty list. Alright, this is instruction. So we'll get an empty list over here. So since we don't have any return values, so let us test our unit test. So the results differ. So how do the results differ? Okay, because the return value automatically became a mock. That's what happens in mocks, guys. So make sure you check return values. For that, you get none over here, and return value you get something like spouse addition succeeded, right? And then you have another return value which says spouse child addition succeeded, right? So now it should be child addition succeeded, spouse addition succeeded, and then you should get none. Let's test our unit test and we get something else. We get add child was called right, sorry guys, sorry. It is not called with this, but rather it is called with these arguments. That was my bad. And this should be called with this particular argument. Yep, now test passes. So we know that each method is called properly in the unit test, and in the integration test we will actually expect the results. But as you can see, in our integration test, what happens is we don't have a proper family tree, right? So our integration test is going to actually first translate this and then test the execution function. So that we are going to do after we, what do you say, we merge this with the whole method. So logging basically takes in results, and then logging basically takes results and it prints it out, test log, right? So what this will do is it will only patch built-ins .print. I'm going to say mock print. So what we are going to do is self.geekTrustApp.log, and we're going to pass it these results, right? We pass it these results, and our mock print should be assert called with child addition succeeded, spouse addition succeeded, then should be called with none as well. So let us create our log method real quick, and it's going to have results. For result in results, we're going to print result. That's all log does. And now let's test our unit test, and expected was child addition succeeded, but we ended up calling none. And how is that? Because in our test file what we did was we made sure child addition succeeded was passed first. So okay, that's because mock print is assert called with none at the last, and it holds the last value there. So what we will do is we will look at the mock print call logs, right? And we will see print mock print, and then we have vars, then we print this out as well, and we'll print something like equal to, then we have dir mock print as well. So let us see what has we've got there. Why didn't we print these out? pdb.setTrace. So as you can see guys, in test driven development each test has its own trick. Okay, my bad, I think I should just quit that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this, and I'm just going to comment these out. I'm going to import pdb over here, set trace, right? So mock open. So what is, oh sorry, that's mock. So what is a print function here? So something just happened over here guys, I don't know what just happened. So mock print was called with this thing. So let me just create a mock and let's look at the call logs. From unit test.mock import mock, right? Sorry, I mean mock. X is a mock, and let's just look at vars of x. So it's going to have mock call args list, mock call args list. So we're going to say child addition succeeded. We're just going to print mock print dot mock call args list, right? Because it does have that, and there's an underscore between in the front. So so there's a recursion limit over there, because I think what happened was it went into recursion. So let us look at mock one more time. Then we have mock over here. We're going to do, what is it? We're going to have mock calls, which is a list, and we should try printing that as well. So mock calls. So we're just going to print out mock print dot mock calls once, and we have a recursion limit error. So guys, we are going to just omit this out, and we're not going to print these lines anymore. We are only going to say that none has been called because that's the last value that has been called, and since print has been called, we don't really need to check for anything else. So we're going to leave this at that, and we have the final method, which is going to be setup, which will call translate and execute, right? So let's mock that out real quick as well. So we're going to create def test translate, setup, and it's going to just mock our translate and execute methods. So it's going to mock our geek trust dot geek trust dot translate, right? And then it's going to call patch geek trust dot geek trust dot execute. These are the two methods, and we will call them mock translate and mock execute. And when we say geek trust app dot set up is called with the file name, it's going to mock translate dot assert called with the file name, and let us just return value for translate because that is what's going to come out, and we're going to call it result, and we're going to say translate result over here. And actually we're not going to do that over here. I'm going to say mock execute was assert called with, let's just say execute is this, we called with result, right? So let us create a setup method over here real quick, and that's going to be our setup. We're going to have a file name, and what it's going to do is with open file name, that is done by translate. So it's going to say commands, it's going to be self dot translate with the file name, and then it's going to call self dot execute with the commands. So let us test our unit test, and yep. So guys, with that we have completed our geek trust class as well. Now comes the time to finally merge this with our develop branch. So first of all, let us add everything. So git log was basically created, so git add all git commit -m completed geek trust.py with unit tests, right? And we're going to git push origin develop geek trust. So now that we have done that, let us look at our branch. We are going to merge this with our develop branch, and we are going to say git merge develop geek trust. Obviously we are going to have conflicts, and let us look at the conflicts we have. Yep, so guidelines has the conflict, so let us look at guidelines, right? And this is the head that we have, so we are going to delete that line. If you don't know how to delete in Vim, it's double D, that will delete the whole line. And this is the find method. You do a question mark next escape mode. Yep, that's how you find it there, right? So we're going to look for something like this. Okay, so we have member, methods, this family tree, then we have geek trust, then we have another geek trust, so we're going to delete the top geek trust. This is why exactly I added this over here, so that I can get rid of this, right? So with that, what we have done is git status, and we're going to add git add guidelines. We're going to say status now. So git commit, we're going to say merged develop geek trust with develop git push origin develop, right? So we have successfully merged everything into develop. Now we're going to have a look at the code over here. So let us close our old code quickly, and let us have our new code. And guys, we have all of our tests, everything over here. Our files are all good. One more thing is we can finally delete this dummy family method, and we're going to instead say from family tree dot family tree import family tree. So that's it, guys. We have finally done that, and we can look at the status. We have modified geek trust. We're going to add all. We're going to say removed dummy family tree, right? And we can push origin develop, and now what we'll do is we will do our unit tests. Yep, all of them pass. And we will do our integration test as well, all of them pass. So that was it, guys. We have finally pushed all of our code into GitHub, and now we can finally test the remaining parts. That is, we can test geek trust with the integration test. We can finally load our file and do everything else that's required. So with that, guys, this has been a long video. I hope you guys like the video, so please don't forget to press the like button, and if you like the content, please press the subscribe button as well. So I'll see you guys in the next video, where we finally start writing integration tests for the final method, and then we start taking command line arguments as well. So with that, I leave you guys, and see you guys in the next video.